Hi, everyone. I am Brandi Kurtyka, the CEO and co-founder of myCNAjobs. I was hoping to be live today to talk about the state of the direct care workforce, but baby number 4 decided to come a little bit early. So instead, I am sending a quick recording and wishing you all a very productive conference. For those of you that don't know who myCNAjobs is, I just want to take a moment, share a little bit about who we are to set the stage for some of what I'm going to be talking about in this intro video. Essentially, I'm here to share our front row seat over the past year as myCNAjobs has helped connect 3.9 million direct care workers to both employers and training across the nation. myCNAjobs is a recruitment solution for companies to hire and a training and a career resource solution for direct care workers. So what this means is we see a lot. We see companies battling it out to hire people. We see companies challenged with retention. We study what makes this population tick, why they take a job, why they leave a job, why they ultimately decide to enter the profession. This is the wildest that I've seen the labor market in the past decade. And I'm going to share a few slides of what we see unfolding now. And I want to preface this by saying I just have a few minutes here, but I could talk about this for hours. So think of this more as the highlight reel. And if you want to go deeper, happy to do that at a later time. So I'm going to go ahead here. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Okay, there we are. So hopefully you can see that. Before we talk specifically about the direct care workforce, I think it's important to take a look at the overall labor market and what's happening. This chart tells a strong story of unemployment. This thin red line is the economic downturn from 2007 to 2009. These gray lines at the top are post World War II recessions. And this thick red line is what's happening and has happened over the past year. So unemployment dropped suddenly. And as you can see from this chart, it's spiking back up. And this means that not only healthcare companies are battling it out to hire, but just about every industry out there. So we went from headlines like this in January of this year, indicating that US job postings are down and well below pre-pandemic levels, to thousands of local articles like this one on the left, talking about how an increase in pace of job openings and highlighting how many industries are now understaffed, to the Wall Street Journal article here on the right that was just published. It's talking about this is the biggest jobs gain since August. And there is headline after headline about how tough it is to hire hourly workers to fill jobs as the economy comes roaring back. From restaurants to retail to the world that we're all focused on, which is connecting direct care workers with those that need care. Another dynamic that we see playing out right now, and I think this is really interesting, is some senior living and nursing home providers are starting to mandate the vaccine. And many clients in a home care setting are starting to require vaccinated caregivers in the home. And there's a hesitancy with the direct care workforce in getting the vaccine. And I don't have a lot of time to talk about this in detail today, but in one of our latest studies of direct care workers, this was about 60 days or so ago, 44% were still not sure if they were going to get vaccinated, and 21% said no. And the reason that I'm noting this and bringing this into today's conversation is not only, did we not have enough workers pre-pandemic, but now companies are having to fight even harder to get talent. And oftentimes direct care workers can earn more money in other professions. And these low vaccine rates are cutting that labor market even further. So we've got some work to do here. And not just on, recruiting good people, but I'd say, thinking about we have work to do on the retention of the direct care workforce as well. Everyone on this line knows that turnover is expensive. It leads to inconsistency of care. It's correlated to quality of care outcomes. And I think we have an opportunity to start turning this around this year. And I'd say, on a good note, we've seen that direct care workers are really starting to indicate that they prefer to work for a single employer and looking almost for someone to like take them under their wing. And, pre-pandemic, when we looked at the labor market, it was more common for us to see a direct care worker think about this job and think about work more from a gig perspective. And they may have been cobbling together multiple companies or multiple schedules. So I think there's a framework now to start improving retention because of what this workforce values. And in my humble opinion, we need to turn our focus to a few things, and that's compensation, its career paths, and its culture. And again, I could speak on this for hours, but I think there's a real opportunity to improve the culture of care with the direct care workforce. And from our seat and what we see day in and day out, fundamentally, direct care workers are often disconnected from their employers, especially in a home care setting. They can earn more money in other professions. They're often female, they're often single, a lot of single moms, a lot of people out there trying to make ends meet. Many folks are on public assistance. And, although direct care workers don't necessarily do this job for the paycheck, it's tough to do the job at minimum wage when right now there's so many readily available alternatives. And I think the opportunities that we're excited about and to be a part of is around helping to create a true path for direct care workers. So it doesn't just feel like a job, but rather a destination. It's a career next step. It's a career where, they can both do good and find meaning and purpose in the work that they do, but also be connected to the client and those employers that they're serving at the same time. One stat I just wanted to share that I thought was interesting is 40% of workers are telling us that their biggest career goal over the next year is more education. And that's an incredible opportunity and insight to build upon in an area that we're focused on over the coming months as well. And it's changing the culture from training for compliance, but really training to create those paths and upskill for growth. So I know I only had a few minutes. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here today. We've been studying this workforce for a decade and continue to try to keep a pulse of what's happening to deliver both change and solution. So if you want to contact me, my contact information is up here on the slide. Again, wish I could be there in person, but I hope you enjoy the conference and I look forward to connecting with you soon.